everyone, today we're going to be doing a braid, and I have started just by parting her hair in the middle, and then I've grabbed a small section of hair here in the front. So I'm going to begin by splitting this strand of hair into 3 sections, and I'm going to be making a feather braid. So I'm starting just by braiding regularly, and then every time I bring this bottom strand over the middle, first I'm going to remove a small piece of hair and let it hang down. And you do want to remove pretty small sections so that you don't run out of hair. And then you want to continue this until you can bring the braid around to about the middle of her head. So you really don't need to go all the way down. Okay, so I'm at the point where I'm pretty much to the middle, and so I'm just going to tie this off for now. So now that I have this first braid done, I'm just going to do the exact same thing over here. I'm going to bring a feather braid around to the middle of her head. Alright, so at this point I have made a feather braid on each side, and I am just going to bring them together here in the middle, and I'm securing them with a clear rubber band. So now I'm ready to start making these chains, and before I begin I'm going to spray these down with some water, and you really want these pretty wet so that you don't have to deal with flyaways. So I'm having my daughter hold these strands in her hand just so that it doesn't mix in with this other hair. It's going to make it easier for me. And then I'm going to begin by grabbing the first 2 strands that are closest to her face. And then I'm going to take these strands, cross one over the other, and just tie it into a little half of a knot. This is just like tying a shoe. And this first one I am going to tighten it all the way up to the top of that braid. And now I'm going to grab the next strand back and add it into the back strand. So one of these is closest to her face, the other one's closest to the back of her head. You want to add the new strand into the one that's closest to the back of her head. And then you're just going to take these and tie another half knot. This time you're not going to tighten it all the way. You want to leave a little circle just like that. And then again, I'm going to add in the next strand back into that back strand, tie another knot. And I'm trying to get these little circles about the same size. So you just keep going back the same way. You always add the strand in to the strand that's closest to the back of her head. As you're going down, if you find that the chain is longer than the strands that you have hanging down, you can always combine a couple of strands. Like right here, I'm just going to add these both in to this next chain. Okay, so I'm finished with the chain on this first side. I'm just going to clip it right here where it's knotted to keep it from coming unraveled, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, so I've made a chain on each side with those braids, and now I'm just going to take this little ponytail in the middle and combine everything into another elastic. Okay, so this is the finished style, and this should look better as it dries, but that should give you the general idea of what it looks like. So another option you could do is grab your section in front, split it into 3, and instead of just making a feather braid, you could make a lace feather braid, meaning that I'm going to be bringing in strands here from the top to add into the braid, just like a French braid. And then again, you would just remove a strand here from the bottom and drop it. So just every time you cross the strand over on the top, you're adding a piece of hair with it. And I'm just kind of bringing this braid down diagonally across the back of her head. obviously you could go down as far as you would like with this. I'm just going to stop right here for today. So same thing as before, you would just start right here with this strand in the front and bring your chain right down here and tie it in with this other elastic. Okay, so this is what option 2 looks like all finished. When I brought the chain down into the elastic, I just took the end of that and wrapped it around before I tied it off. So that's how you get the little knot.